Rich Greenfield over at the Death Star, BTIG, Rich Greenfield says, maybe not. Greenfield talks about Facebook being ordinary. He says it's, a sell rating generational. You go the other way. I know Ken Sen and others like you still very, very optimistic. And what we get from Mr. Forte is an idea of optimism. Why are you optimistic where Rich Greenfield isn't?
Yep, the way that I look at Facebook, I think the stock's performance ultimately depends on their ability to monetize mobile. So if you look at the fourth quarter, they had $306 million in mobile ad revenue, up from zero in less than 4 quarters. I think that continues to improve. So I think that on that mobile monetization of their billion users, the stock goes higher.
Is it an international monetization or is it linked to the United States?
If you look at about 82% of their users are overseas, I think that this is both a domestic and international story on the mobile monetization.
So how does a Facebook phone or Facebook phone software move the needle on those mobile numbers?
The idea is that if you want to have greater control of your ecosystem, then you want to have a better integration on the phone. Think about everything that Amazon's doing in hardware with the Kindle Fire on the tablet side. So to the extent that you could control the user experience, get them to use more Facebook applications on that phone, that's the opportunity here for Facebook.
But is Facebook as a brand compelling enough for people to switch from, say, an Apple phone or their existing Google Android phone?
Facebook as a service is compelling enough. It's one of the #1 apps on both Android and on the Apple iOS operating system. Whether or not it's compelling to get you to switch from your Apple remains to be seen, maybe not.
Don, overlay in here China. You're there more often than not. Is everybody glued to their smartphone in China on Facebook, talking to their friends?
Well, not on Facebook, but it's not allowed in China. But they are as committed, or more so than we are here. If we were having a business dinner in China, I would leave. You and I would both leave our cell phones on in the middle of the conversation. If somebody called, I'd pick it up and talk to them, and I'd.
That's the embedded here. What's Facebook going to do about China?
Well, I think for China, for Facebook, for Google, for a lot of the internet players, there's an opportunity ultimately long-term, but the Chinese government gives the local player a huge competitive advantage. Think about Baidu and search, and I think that this is going to be difficult for China for them to pursue it directly.
And that's the thing, right? Because if Facebook really needs to make a splash, it needs to do so in these emerging markets where growth is faster and the market's not saturated. It would need to go in there and strike deals with local carriers, work with the local infrastructure. Can it afford to do that with the amount of time and costs involved?
Sure. It definitely could afford to. I mean, their balance sheet's very strong. I think they have more than $10 billion in cash. I think the opportunity for a lot of internet companies, including Facebook, is the emerging markets. eBay talked about last week with the BRIC opportunity, emerging market opportunity there. So I think that that's going to be something that's a stumbling point for Apple on getting a low-cost phone to penetrate the emerging markets. But I do think Facebook will ultimately succeed.
What is you're really good at the anecdotal and checking with your channel change and that. Do people want mobile ads?
I think that people want contextual ads. So I think you talked about baseball before. So I'm a Cub fan. So if I can get contextual ads that somehow relate to me as a Cub fan, that's an advertisement that I would read almost like reading news story, things like that. Facebook understands the importance of contextual ads. They're working in that direction. They have the data on the users to give you a more personalized advertisement. That's something I think they're working on.
Yeah.
They're working on it, but we haven't seen it yet. When I go on my Facebook news status, I still see ads targeting me about whether I want a college degree.
Yes. Well, I think it's a work in progress for everyone. So if you think about Google, they own YouTube, but it's not unusual for me to watch Gangnam Style and have it the lead-in be a Nivea for Women ad. So I think there's still a work in progress for everyone, including Facebook, on getting more contextualized ads.
I look again at the bull call here on Facebook. We've come off the bottom. What will you expect on the next conference call? What are you looking for in the earnings cycle?
Yep, I'm looking for more progress on the mix of advertisements that comes from mobile. So if you look in the June quarter, it was 1.5%, then it was 14% in September, 23% in December. So to the extent that that continues to go higher, I think that's the opportunity here.